So, ladies and gentlemen, if we put our headphones on, I know we're competing with Stevie D, but can you hear me? Put your hands up if you can hear me. Fantastic. And what you're listening to now is Ian Kellett, who's the choir master of the Ewanrigg Community Choir, who might be represented here today. I'm not going to give away their identities, but they might be in the crowd. And what is this? Well, this is an audio adventure. We're going to go down the arches, turn right, down to the hospital, come back via the schools, and end up back where we started, past the boys' club, past the boxing club. And that route has been chosen deliberately to go past places that people have been talking to me about over the last few weeks. And I've talked to everyone you can imagine. Year 2 infants, over 70s, hospital chaplains. Oh, there's one in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, big hand. Community choir, shopkeepers, peacocks, the lot. So I've talked to all these people, recorded those conversations, edited together as a celebration of the last 70 years at Ewanrigg. And in fact, more than that, in some cases, with Netherton infants, I've been able to ask them about the next 70 years. And I shall play you what their answers were when we can hear ourselves think, when we've got out of the range of Stevie D. Now, that's where we're going, that's what we're listening to. What are we going to see? We're going to see members of the community doing a live performance. Alongside what I've just described, we've commissioned a poem from Cumbrian poet Katie Hale. And you'll hear someone you all know on this estate reading that poem. Okay. Well, the giveaway is you've seen one of the performances here already. Here it is, happening here. There's wool being wound. Here we go.
Let's start at the centre, unwind from the beating building at the heart, work out. Unwind our words into stories, then unwind the stories like a skein of wool passed from the practised hands of a grandparent to the hopeful fingers of a child, who then rewinds it into something new. And let's start by unwinding the road between the centre and the shop, and a peacock strutting it up. Clawed feet stitching the line along the centre, dragging his long-tailed plume behind. And the road unwinds its stories like a skein of wool, passed from the practised hands of a grandparent to the hopeful fingers of a child. So let's circle back, circle back, circle back, circle back, circle back, circle back, circle back.
The peacock, the seagull, and the queen.
Peacock was strutting along the arches.
He owned the spot. He greeted everyone.
I'm Peacock, I own the spot.
A car came along the road.
Peacock just stood there. I'm Peacock, I own the spot.
The car had to go around Peacock.
I've lived in this 73 years, just over there. Yeah.
Oh wow, so the Jubilee celebration, do you remember her coronation?
Oh yeah, yeah, of course.
What did you do for it?
Where was I up with now? I was working in Wallis. I was in Wallis then. Yeah, but there was a television shop next door, so we used to let so many of them come out and watch it, you know, on television.
Do you remember the coronation?
I do, yeah. I remember going to my grandma's to see it on telly.
Where was that?
At Durham. My grandma lived at Durham, waiting at telly. I mean, we
had a
radio. Yeah, she did. We were all sitting and watching it,
Yeah.
On thing. And then it was just a few months after, we were all marched from school to see Tenants and Hillary climbing Everest. And that was where one of the things that sort of encouraged us to take that up.
Growing up, yeah, I can remember there being the 1977 Silver Jubilee. We lived on Mooresdale, and there was like tables and that on the street. And me and Nana lived upon Criffle Avenue, and I can remember getting like a mug with the Queen's picture on, and it was in the china cabinet for years, and you know, and a coin. I think we got a special coin, and so yeah, there was just loads of people, you know, celebrating.
Yeah.
But I think it was a hot summer as well that year, and it was red hot.
Ted on the rope. Fantastic. And Pam on the bunting. On we go.
Peacock got to the mini roundabout, over from the shop.
Seagulls on the roof.
It's the Jubilee, Peacock. The Queen's coming. And she flew off down Ewanrigg Road. Peacock walked down Ewanrigg Road. I was looking for the Queen. I'm Peacock, I own the spot. He thought he heard Seagull laughing.
Circle back, circle back, circle back, circle back. To a butty and crack, till the button factory, candle factory and electricals, till the arches bringing their trucks full of coal, till the shortcut down pit yard. And let's circle back to backs, to a new pair of shoes and white socks, to wash day, baking day, tin bath in front of the fire day, and doing our fronts for the weekend. And the old days which just tasted better. To be sent to the bakery for pies, with a milk bottle for gravy, and to drink it on the way back. And let's circle back, circle back, circle back, circle back, circle back, circle back, circle back.
It's the working man I am.
Crossing carefully.
I have been down underground, and I swear to God, if I ever see the sun, or for any length of time.
Seats at top, middle and bottom.
Yeah, and they were always
all fellas all sat on there, cracked away, smoked the
put the world to rights.
Pipes or whatever they had. As she said, put water in. And there was Ginny Stole's shop in like Darchway. We used to gather here for eating a stick of Spanish and Caroline.
Oh, nice.
And then we went to Hewitson's shop, which was further along. And that was for our Brocken biscuits, because couldn't afford chocolate biscuits. But you got Brocken biscuits.
Yeah.
For, I think it was threepence we used to pay.
Before your time, and the cold dust lies heavy on your love. It's a working man I am. I have been down underground.
Everyone's singing.
And I swear to God, if I ever.
And then we went to bakery, Hilda's bakery, for pies. And my mother used to give us a milk bottle to fetch gravy back. It was clear gravy. He used to sup here for me coming. I never got a full bottle.
At the age of 69.
Oh no, it was we had to do it in the yard where we live.
Well, we had toilet as well.
In yard. Everything was in yard.
If your newspaper was on string, you were posh.
Just getting ahead of us there, Sam.
But everything was in the one room downstairs. Everything you had to do there, you know. You'd go and fetch water, go up to the yard when you wanted a toilet, but everybody shared them, eh? No wonder there was measles, and I remember one I mean, I was very old, and this mouse come running down my pillow. I was screaming like hell. I wasn't very old when that happened, but it was terrible. As I say, I don't know, my mother put up with it.
For any length of time,
well, it was a silver wedding, and everybody was invited. Obviously, everybody and the mothers were invited. And we thought we were going to have to bake and that for the do. And she went, no, it's all sorted. When we got there, it was fish and chips for everybody.
Fish and chips, it was singing and dancing.
Oh God no! Ah, there was a band and that, wasn't it?
Singing, dancing, celebrating.
Yeah,
it was
it was a good night. That.
It was lovely. It was a lovely event.
I've heard a lot about Bill.
Yeah.
It was great. Or Shotton's idiot.
Bill.
Oh, Bill was lovely. He was. He wouldn't hear an outsaid rant about anybody.
I never again will go down underground.
Pit Yard, between the hospital and Grasslet, was always just a shortcut to get to either the factories or my Brownies was down near where the miners' welfare was, so that was just a shortcut to get there quicker. And we picked friends up on the way to Brownies, but there was a lot of little side streets there, so it was the easy way to get to the factories as well. And we'd living over at Ewanrigg near the hospital. It always was a shortcut. The hospital, I was born in the hospital, 1963. And I think my mum was born there as well. That would be 1942.
One more thought from Netherton infants.
In the year 2092, your life gets harder because you're getting older and everything.
We'll carry.
Circle back, circle back, circle back, circle back. To the hospital, caring in the home, a home from home, and a mother to everyone. This is where some of us came into the world, and this is where some of us left it. So let's circle back to the coil of a drip, the bend of an ear, and the curl of an arm around the shoulder, where each needle is threaded with the thread of the stories wound up in the brick, with the threads of the road that leads us looping away, looping back, to where we wind the bandages over a wound, to where we are stitched back together, and together let's circle back, circle back, circle back.
Peacock arrived at the hospital. He was looking for the Queen. Seagull was flying around and around and around. It's the Jubilee, Peacock! The Queen's coming! And she flapped off towards the schools. Peacock paraded to Ennerdale Road. He was gonna meet the Queen because I'm Peacock, I own the spot. He could definitely hear Seagull waffling.
Hello, Ken Wright speaking.
Because of the poverty in the estate, I hate using the word poverty, but to be real it is, many people are
I can't remember, last time I checked the statistics, it was about 62% of the population in Ewanrigg don't drive. So this was absolutely integral for people to recuperate. But the way it ran, it was such a homely place that not only did the patient get help, but the patient's partner or relatives, or they would feed them as well. So it was stuff like that you can't put into words, you can't express to the big wigs. One story was that a gentleman was going for a scan, an old gentleman, and couldn't have anything to eat after 7 o'clock, and the cook starts at 7, so she just come in at 20 to 7 and made him his breakfast. Didn't get paid for it, but that's what it was. It was home from home. They were just so accommodating, especially end of life. It was just unbelievable.
I don't go every week because the present use, which, you know, I'll just sort of mention roughly, but the present use is for patients, because there's no overnight beds, is for long-term transfusions and things like that, plus wound dressings and this, that, the other. But the only time it's really worth my while going is when I can sit with a patient who's going through a 5-hour transfusion, etc. And that means that everybody who has that is to a greater or lesser extent on life limitation treatment. As you can imagine, you don't go for a blood transfusion unless you really need one, or other forms of chemical transfusions. And so, they've got plenty of time, because anything to distract them, you know, it's nice to have a chat. But then, as they grow in confidence with me, they will share their fears and worries that they will share with me, but not their loved ones. And that is a great honour, obviously. And similarly, sometimes, if there's loved ones there and I can see they want to, I'll take them aside and listen to their fears for the future. And sometimes I get them to talk to each other.
And it's so handy for everybody on the estate, which helps in the recuperation, for people just to pop in. It's just a lovely, lovely spot, and one that the town didn't want to lose. So we started petitions, we covered the whole town in ribbons. We spent hours at the centre cutting ribbons, and people were just coming in cars.
Because frequently in my job, I find people who are sort of towards the end of life, the patient knows they're dying, their loved ones know they're dying, but they don't want to upset or admit it to each other. And now I must have confidentiality, and I have to encourage them to say the things they want to say, because they both know, and the more that they can talk before that person passes away, the better, obviously. So I then am always available for them, and then when they get towards the real end of their life, when they want that person to, they've had enough and they says it's time that we let them slip away, then I ask permission to pray for that one way or another. And I just use the words that come to my mind. And I thought it was coincidence to start with, but 9 out of 10 pass away within 24 hours to the relief of the patient and the loved ones. So that's a very special ministry, which I've fallen into over the last 25 years.
Do you want me to tell them a story about this?
Yeah.
Right.
You wrote it.
Yeah. I was working with a young lady from Silloth, and she was a very angry young lady. Just like rage, you know. And we wrote this song together, and it was really sarcastic. And it was actually exactly the opposite of what the words were, but it was really cynical and everything. But as the time went by, everybody really liked it, and the cynicism just sort of fell away. And Wendy's daughter, Leah, loved it.
Yeah.
And so we remember her because she's not with us anymore. But we remember her, and this is called Leah's Blue Cloudless Skies.
Don't find the rhythm. We'll go this way, please.
It's one of those days when everything falls right into place. One of those days when I can't seem to wipe the smile off my face. Sorry if I seem to lack sympathy for what's on your back. It seems so long since I got back on track, but now I'm looking at blue cloudless skies. Blue cloudless skies. Blue cloudless skies. Hard to realise troubles that stuck right in my face have vanished and gone without a trace, and all that's left in their place are blue.
The reason we were so able to get up and running here when we changed from being an inpatient to being this different sort of like an outpatient really, is because we retained a lot of the staff. We retained the RGNs, the staff nurses, and we retained the healthcares as well, the healthcare assistants, who are very local, and they've worked in this hospital for many, many years, a lot of them. In fact, I think one member of staff has probably only worked here for the whole nursing entirety of her life, yeah. In fact, there was a district nurse who used to work here, and she was born here. You know, she was literally born in this hospital when we did maternity downstairs. We've even had patients come in and say, I was born here. You know, so they are, you know, they can't remember that, but you know, that's fantastic to hear, for them to share that with us when we come in, and that's great for us.
Troubles that stuck right in my face have vanished and gone without a trace. All that's left in their place are blue cloudless skies.
Now it's for Leah.
Another offering from Netherton Infants.
In the year 2092, there's hoverboards and flying cars.
We'll go out on a limb on something different, like shows. We had a pianist, a classical pianist, through Arts Out West in the centre, in the middle of Ewanrigg, and I'm like, this is so gonna go out to, like, it was chocker. He come back a second time because people wanted tickets. It was just bizarre. So, but without the money back of you, you'd never have done it. So you've got that bit there as a cushion. So if it didn't work out, we're not bankrupt.
So you've said Lantern Parade, creativity of making those. You've said classical pianist.
Yep.
You said Arts Out West.
Mm-hmm.
You said going to shows.
Yep.
Why is creativity and culture, why is that important?
Because a lot of the kids on the estate never get off the estate. We took a bus full of kids to pantomime at Keswick. And I hope I never forget it. The kid said to me, what's them? And I said, what's what? And she's like, them, 7-year-old. And I'm like, what are you looking at? She goes, them things there, and it was a mountain. Honestly, if I hadn't heard it, I wouldn't have believed it. Are you allowed to walk them? So she's probably in a lot. I know she was only 7 or 8, never been off the estate. Because her mum and dad have never been off the estate. So.
And the arts events?
Art events are just phenomenal. Kids are so creative. So creative. Kids are the future of the estate. Just to let them know they can do what they want when they want. You know, that there isn't a door closed to them. It's up to them whether they open it. And we have to try and build them up and give them the confidence to open it.
At the gate, Peacock looked at Ewanrigg Juniors. He looked at St. Pat's. Then he heard Seagull. I'm Peacock, I own the spot. She was laughing so hard she fell in a bin. The Queen hadn't come to Ewanrigg. Down at the Community Centre, Peacock greeted everyone. Peacock, he owns the spot! Everyone was cheering and clapping for Peacock.
Teaching kids boxing, you mentioned discipline. I suppose there was always a big thing about, it's not fighting, it's a sport.
Yeah, it's a sport.
Yeah.
We try and, when we teach them, we tell them it's just for the gym. Yeah. It's not for school or outside the gym. It's gym only. You know what I mean? And then you start seeing them getting disciplined. They start listening to you more. When obviously they've been a couple of times, you've told them, well, listen up. You've got to do this. Then you can start seeing them changing and start respecting you more. And you say that's when the discipline comes in and you start listening a bit more. And it's good.
Eventually plunged into this. Thought we'd need our own space, and that we moved up Ewanrigg because it was a perfect location. Boys Club give us half the land, Allerdale give us the other half of the land, and then we just plugged away, got grants, a lot of voluntary work, blood, sweat and tears, and built our own gym. And it's just been bouncing since then. For us, like you say, it's obviously we're a competitive club, and we take pride in that. When we compete, we go out to win. But the biggest win for us is when you get kids coming in, very little confidence, or maybe like behavioural issues, things like that, and then you can just see them transform in 12 months' time, and they're just different people at the end of that process. So that's the most rewarding thing.
But she always danced. She used to take off. They had a fish shop at Harrington, and she used to climb out of the window at night and go to dances and what have you. She was always at the dances. She'd go anywhere. My auntie got married. My mum went to Gretna till a dance. She went to a wedding and then didn't go for tea afterwards. She got a lift off the milk float to Gretna till a dance. She was always at dances. And then people used to come in fish and chips and used to say to my nana, just seeing your floodings down at Princess Hall. My nana would say, well, she can't, she's upstairs, but she would climb out at window and go. And I'm sure my nana must have knew, like, my nana was savvy, yeah. So I'm sure she must have knew that she was away down to dancing, but she's taught, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. Wherever I go, I went into Marx's a couple of months back, well, I know you. I says, all right. He stands for you, Mum. I said, all right, okay. And I was in the chemist.
Anyone local, if you've not had something to do with Florence's dance school, then I was in the
chemist at Harrington. Don't even know this girl. I'd never seen her before in the chemist. And she says, I know you. I said, oh, do you? She says, I used to dance for you, Mum. She says, me and my sister. She says, my sister was good, and she says, I used to get shouted at every week. Every week. She says, your mum used to tell us I was rubbish, I was this, that and the other, but I loved it. I went back every week.
So and I think that thing of it's not cool to dance when you're a young lad, I think it's sort of, it's stronger here than it is sort of, like Teresa said, down the country where there's a lot more going on. Yeah. We're sort of closed off in this area a little bit.
Very isolated for if boys want to do something. Well, if anybody wants to do something, it all costs a fortune. And we're so far away from anywhere. It's all right saying, be the best dancer. You've got to have financial backing to be able to do it.
Circle back, circle back, circle back, circle back, till we can tap into the past, the way a step is passed from the practised foot of a grandparent to the hopeful toe of a child. So let's circle back to the scuff of metal on wood, to the sparkle and dance, the heel and the toe to every show, remembered through the feet and the beat on the boys' club floor. Routines locked in calves, and the adult muscles still holding their 7-year-old selves. To the young ones with eyes full of stars, to the big girls who were always your rockets. So let's circle back, circle back, circle back.
Katie Winter, who's danced here for many years, and dance classes continue in the Maryport Boys and Girls Club. Thank you, Katie. And we're going to move on to the Amateur Boxing Club.
Circle back, circle back, circle back, circle back. And let's follow the thread from the dance to the stance of a boxer, where you can fight an orthodox fight all your life, or change your angles and throw your opponent. Mixing it up, answering back to the punch of the glove on the bag and the skip of the rope on the floor. Circle back, to the ring with its circle of rope, to the hope and the power and the fight. Circle back, circle back, circle back, circle back.
Okay.
Paul Carter.
Is that the wind or?
Coach at Maryport Amateur Boxing Club, doing his raps. Thank you, Paul. And we're going to move on.
Wait for it, wait for it. It's one of those days when everything falls right into place. One of those days when I can't seem to wipe the smile on my face. Sorry if I seem to lack sympathy for what's on your back. Seems so long since I got back on track. Now I'm looking at blue cloudless skies.
Why I'm here is because music is something that I love, and I've always loved it. It's something that's just run through my family for ever and ever, and I've carried on. Which was my granddad used to do, of managing to play music without learning sheet music, playing by ear. So it's something that's always been in there, and I still keep all my granddad's old records and guitar strings to this day. Without him, I probably wouldn't be as this infused about music than I am now. What brought me here was, well, mostly I can thank my mother for that. The best thing, I think, is that we can all have a laugh. We're not one of those choirs that sort of stands there, chests out, read the words, sing as loud as we can, then all head off home back to our fancy big mansions. We all like to have a good laugh around here, and it's what makes it the best. For me, out of all the choirs in the world, this one's going to be the best in the world.
few more thoughts from Netherton infants.
In the year 2092, like segways could float in air and we don't need to like waste our breaths to run.
One last thought.
In the year 2092, your life gets harder because you're like getting older and everything.
Which is really funny.
So don't give me aggravation.
Circle back, circle back, circle back, circle back. Circle back till the centre, till we follow the thread to the wind through the blinds, and the hum of the kettle come into the boil and the chorus of chat. The choir sing a song we all know, tap to the beat, sway to the tune, sing all together, till our voices split into harmony, till each string of notes sings its own strand, its own street, and the song is supported by nothing but air. And then the guitar, like a pavement, rising to meet each tread like a thread, passed between the practiced tune of a grandparent and the hopeful notes of a child. So let's circle back to the thread of the song, to support in the tune with our own. And let's sing it like we believe. Open our arms, pass the song across the circle, raise our voices together, sing out.
All that's left in that gray sound blue, cloudless skies.
You know the words.
Blue cloudless skies. Hard to realize, troubles that stuck right in my face, flashing dawn without a trace. And all that's left in that place of blue, cloudless skies.
Thank you, Ewanrigg Community Choir, who are here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. That's the end of our audio venture. Thank you so much.